Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today with a palette review. Going through everything that I own and trying to get rid of stuff and reorganize, because organized here, organized mind, let's just do it. So this is for Glaminatrix Cosmetics Rich Romantics palette. Now they are re-releasing this. It sold out really quickly. They brought it back another time and then people were like, we want more. We want more. They got more because they brought it back. So I got the original. This is actually the first time I bought Glaminatrix Cosmetics was because of this palette, because it is exactly in my wheelhouse of what I like. This is what I want. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. And I got the other one too, the Spice palette, I think it was. It's over there somewhere, and to be honest with you, didn't care for that one. Sugar and Spice. Didn't care for that one as much. So didn't end up reviewing that. I may do it anyway with some looks. I'm trying to upload things and show you looks, and that's what I'm going to do here. I will say one of the shadows broke. It was the bright pink. You can see the palette here. You'll see the pink there in the corner. It broke on arrival. I was gone, and so I didn't have a chance to talk to Glaminatrix about it at the time. Actually, it's happened with two of my palettes. I got the fairy palette as well, broke as well. It's a little too late. It would look sus if I did it now, but yeah, basically these are very fragile shadows, so I will just say that straight up. Lost two of them. They're not cheap. Wasn't happy, but it is what it is. It's on me for not opening them. I was traveling. So it's like, that's on me, not them. But yes, they are very fragile. So unfortunately, you won't see an eye look with this because it doesn't exist. But I did go through every single one of these shadows and wore them, and I'll put the picture to the side. Okay, so I like to go through one by one, but what I do want to talk about is, this time I'm going to do it this way. Basically, these are the mattes. You get, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 mattes. This one broke, and then 7 of the special shades. And I mean, that's pretty good. No complaint there. These, what I will say about the mattes is they're a unique formula. I actually like them. I wasn't sure at first because the formula is very well packed in there. They're really packed in here. But the thing is, it's a stiffer formula. But when I think of stiffer formulas of mattes, I tend to think that there's going to be a lot of skipping, no blendability. That's not the case with this. There's very little fallout when you dip your brush into it. Even if you tap it, nothing really comes off. I like to put it on a tissue because I'm so fair and wipe it off that way and build up, and you don't have to worry with this. These were surprisingly, even with the formula being stiffer and packed in there more, I thought it would be very difficult to work with, but actually they worked really well. And today I am wearing the purples, so they're quite lovely. I really would never use dark colors like this, but I used this color and then I darkened it with this one. And honestly, I didn't, what I did originally was pack it on very lightly and then blend it out, because I don't like to pack on bright colors. That's not what I do. If you want a bright look, you can definitely get it that way by packing it on, but that's not what I do. So I pack it on and then I basically, you know, use my brush and blend it out. And that's what I did here. And I love it. I love this look. I love it. This is something you can wear year round. And I will, because I didn't do this when I initially did this. It's funny because I initially taped this, and technology, there you go. So I've never put this combination before. What I would do is use these browns quite a bit. So talking about the mattes, these were the ones that I used the most, basically, just because it worked best for me. I don't tend to go for bright colors. But the thing is, using these with this look today, it isn't bright. They're actually quite muted. And at first I was like, I don't like all these mattes. These mattes are too colorful for me. No, don't pack them in. Just use them and blend them out, and they work gorgeously. They're not too bright, I promise you. They're gorgeous. I wish I had done it earlier, because now it makes me love this palette even more and want to use it even more. So with that, let's just start with this. So this is such a beautiful shade, but it's very, very light. It's like a green kind of shimmery shade, but this is not going to show up on most people. It barely showed up on me, and it's something that I did kind of as a special, like if I wanted a very light look. It was common for me to use it with other ones here, especially this one. Now this one I never used alone. It was my MVP shade, in that I would put it on the inner or the outer corner of my eye if I wanted more dimension with the special shade rather than using a matte. I use this on almost all my eye looks, but this one I opted not to this time. And it is just gorgeous. It works and blends so well with all the colors. Even when you think it won't, it really is such a fine neutral. I love it. So I did a look basically using this one with this guy, and sometimes I would mix it with some of the other ones, just do a lighter shade. I love it, especially if you want to go for a bolder lip color and a light eye. This was perfect. Now this matte may be difficult because it's extremely light. Works for me, so I could use it across my eye if I wanted to basically prep my eye, or if I wanted to use a blending technique with it. But for the majority of people, this one's not going to work so well. But that's okay. What I love about this palette is anyone across the board can use it. This is perfect for fair tones. This is perfect for deeper skin tones. Because the mattes are very smart, you could use this to lighten up any of these, but you can really build them up so they're not overly dark. I will say I did not use this one or this one because they're a little bit too dark for me, so I did opt not to use those because I don't tend to do dark looks. So with this one, this is like so beautiful. Look at that. It's interesting because a lot of these actually went towards more of an orange tone, but it's just lovely. Again, it's not showing up so much on my skin tone. The same thing with that first one that I did that's more green. You'll see that these ones are very, very light, but they both lean towards orange of some sort. So I found most of these to be warm tone, though this one's reading a little bit pinkier here, but when I look down at it, it looks orange. So it shifts. A lot of these shift beautifully. They're like multi-chromes or duochromes, but they have a very light shift. So they're nice to mix and match or layer, which I did do. So then the next one, that's not the MVP, was this gorgeous color here. Oh, love, 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 love. It's just glorious. All these colors are glorious. Again, you will see it leans toward orange. So what I would do is I would use this with this beautiful color or this beautiful color and create a look, and then add this to add a little bit more dimension to it. But you will see that a lot of these are like leaning towards orange, which in the palette, they don't necessarily look like it with the shift. So I expected there to be a little bit more variation, but a lot of these are very similar. Then we go on to this beautiful color, which looks green and like limeade. And again, very orange. It's very strange because looking down on it from this perspective, they read green, but they're actually orange and grayish shift. So a lot of orange going on. Again, a lot of these eye looks aren't going to be crazy. I did use this with one of those looks because I wanted to try it. It's light. I'm like, let me try this. And honestly, it actually looked really beautiful. And then I used this. I'm a cool tone, so this was a little bit too much for me. That was great kind of sunny look. I added this on top of it, and it just gave it a little bit more dimension that I was looking for, because I didn't want just a bright peachy color or orange color. It's more than peachy. That's flat out orange. But it is just phenomenal. It works really well. But not necessarily the look that I would go to too much. I tend to not gravitate for bright orange looks like that. But that's just a me thing. So here you will see it changes a little bit. It goes into more of a pinky. Now looking at the palette, it looks like a blue pink, but again, these are very deceptive because this is more of like a yellow pink shift. And I'm okay with that, actually. I much prefer that because I really don't care for that pink blue shift that's very popular in eyeshadows. Everybody's doing it. I don't care for that. So I kind of like this one better, the way that it is on the arm and on the eye. And I created a look with that. It kind of surprised me because I was like, this wasn't what I was fully going for. It wasn't fully, but I don't care because it's fantastic and I loved it. And then this last one, which is just lot going on here. Just a lot going on there. Again, looking down, it looks very green when you put it on, but it's kind of like an orangey pink with gray. So beautiful. That's what makes these unique, is that almost all of them have a little touch of gray in it, a cool tone gray. So even if they're warm tone, it's very wearable for everybody because it has that little gray kind of grungy base to it, which it doesn't look grungy because it's not grungy, it's romantic, but you can see that shift on them. And I did a look with this and I loved it. I loved it. Honestly, this palette is phenomenal. The matte formula was very different than what I'm used to, but in the end I really fell in love with it. I really was like, I don't like these colors. I was like, I don't like these mattes. I don't want to use them. I'm just going to use these two till the end of time. And then when I actually ventured out of my comfort zone, except for these two, because they're a bit dark, loved it. I loved it. I love these mattes. They're fantastic. The special shades, they're phenomenal. The quality is so good. Oh my gosh, look at that. I love everything about these. The mattes, as far as wear time, the special shades last forever on me. They really do. They lasted quite well. No problems, no creasing. I have very oily skin and it didn't seep through and make them different color. The color will change on the lighter ones. Didn't happen with this. With the mattes, now I've been wearing this for about, I'd say about 4 or 5 hours, and you can see that it's not as matte as it once was. So what's happening is, and it happens to be with mattes, is the mattes will absorb the oil and not darken it so much as make it the look more glossy. It's a natural gloss. So when that natural glossy eyeshadow look was in, I had it naturally. Just give me 3 or 4 hours. That's what happened here. But the thing is, I don't tend to crease, nor do I tend to fade. It may darken the color slightly, but it definitely takes away that matte feel to it, which I'm okay with because I tend to like more of a dewy finish. So I have nature's dew going on here. So there you go. So I really liked it. Yes, the mattes didn't hold. They changed probably around the 3-4 hour mark for me. That's pretty typical, but they were so easy to work with. I honestly think that this palette is phenomenal. If I didn't have special shades and I was willing to put down money, then the pans are pretty small. So this is pretty steep. I'll put the USD to the side. This is a steep palette, plus you're going to pay for shipping. There's codes that you can find online, so do that and save yourself some money. But it's spendy. But if you are new into makeup, or if you like duochromes and you don't like the really bold ones, there's some that are so bold, and I just don't like overly bold duochromes because I don't tend to wear bold looks. I am more of that rich romantic. Take the rich part out. I'm not even necessarily romantic, but I like the concept of the coloring of that. So I love this color story. This is the type of thing that I would wear daily. This is a little bit darker than I would do daily, believe it or not. But a lot of these lighter shades I would wear daily, and I would wear these out or I would wear them to work. And I got a comment every time I use this palette. Every time I use this palette, somebody I was out with would stop me, or somebody at work would go, "Oh my gosh, that palette, where did you get it?" And I went, "They don't make it anymore." Now I can say they're bringing it back. There you go. But people were like, "I love your eyeshadow." Oh my God. Like, people are commenting, "Oh my gosh, your shadow." And I went like, "Oh, you're so talented." It has nothing to do with me. I am not talented. I didn't create these. I just bought them and I love them. So it's like, I had nothing to do with it. Love, nothing. So there you go. But thank you. I'll take the credit for the awesomeness that is Glaminatrix. This is gorgeous. This palette is absolutely gorgeous. So if you are a beginner, these are very user-friendly because these shades sell themselves. You can just do one and done across the lid and do the rest of your eye and go. People will be astonished and go, "You're amazing." No skill needed. That being said, these mattes are a little bit colorful, but don't be afraid to use them because they're actually very user-friendly and can be blended out really well for just a hint of color, which I did today with the purple. So honestly, this palette's a big thumbs up for me, except for the broken shadow. That really depresses me, but I don't really use hot pinks anyway, so I guess it's not really a loss because I don't use them. So it's like, okay, I can pull out any of my Too Faced palettes and find those. Yeah. They love that color. So there you go. That purple or pink. It's like, ah. So there you go. Yes, big thumbs up for Rich Romantics. I think this is fabulous. This is an everyday palette that I would keep and use. I would use this all day, every day. If I didn't have so many palettes and I was trying to get through this, once I get this place organized, this one will be to the front. I do find it to be a little bit more of a spring, summer palette. And when I use spring, summer palettes, this will be to the front because it is